Remember the Nintendo 3DS? And of course, I'm referring to the system that Nintendo discontinued last year. How dare they? But either way, you have to say yes to that question because 2021 marks the 10-year anniversary of the little handheld system. That's right. 2011 saw the release of the 3DS, but 2013 was when the 2DS came out, which is the system I'm specifically talking about today. And honestly, it shouldn't make that big of a difference if I talk about the 2DS instead of the regular 3DS because they're essentially the same game system. Except the 2DS doesn't fold, which I'd imagine trying to fit in your pocket must be a living hell. And also the system doesn't have 3D, which I personally don't find to be that big of a deal. It's not that I hate the 3D feature, it's just something that I personally don't really care about. No, wait, hang on, I think I need to reword that. I think I upset some 3DS fans out there. I love the 3D feature. I really do. I got this system back in late 2016 with saved up birthday money. And yes, I did get a late start. But honestly, that's okay because I still got to play a ton of great games that I would have completely missed out on if I didn't get the system. And plus, I got to play Super Mario 3D Land at some point. And some actually say that this system is very comfortable to game with, which is one of the main reasons I got it in the first place. And 4.5 years later, I can confirm that statement is 100% true. But it personally isn't as comfortable as the GameCube controller or the Wii U gamepad, but it is still comfortable, and the button layout on the system is fairly basic, which helps with the system's comfort, too. You got the returning A, B, X, Y buttons on the shoulder buttons from the classic DS, the start and select buttons, power and home buttons, the volume slider, the D-pad, the touchscreen and stylus, the front camera, the two back cameras, and the cameras on the system suck, by the way, the sleep mode slider, the headphone jack, and the brand new circle pad. So yeah, the button layout on the 2DS isn't that unique, but they're a pretty big part of the system, of course. But as for the UI, it's alright with its basic layout and music. I mean, I think it's music, I don't even know what it is. But the UI does its job quite well, and let me tell you, after scrolling through the Switch menu, I'm suddenly starting to appreciate folders a whole lot more. That and also themes. You can't possibly forget about themes when talking about the 3DS or 2DS or whatever model you have. You can change the background to something from a specific game franchise and the music too. But you do have to pay, unfortunately, from the theme shop. Yes, there's a theme shop. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal when you actually see the price of how much themes cost. And also, now that I think about it, the theme shop isn't something the Nintendo Switch has. What the... Now let's talk software. The 3DS has some of the same software as the Wii U, which I already talked about previously, but that's okay because I could still go over some of the same applications again. Like Miiverse, which was basically the Nintendo version of social media where you could write posts and share them with the world about some games and applications like New Super Mario Bros. 2 or something like that. It was honestly a cool application, and sadly it's now discontinued, unfortunately, because I don't even know why, but it's discontinued and I'm still upset about it. Next up is the internet browser, which is just insane. Not because the 3DS actually let you browse the internet, but because the 3DS let you browse the internet, but the Nintendo Switch doesn't. That's mainly the reason why I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that the 3DS lets you browse the internet, but I'm just surprised that the Nintendo Switch doesn't have that yet. When is the Switch going to get something like that? The notification center is exactly what it sounds like, and Friends List let you see what games your friends were playing. But new to this list of applications is the Game Notes application, which lets you draw out little pictures with the system's stylus and touchscreen. And you also got Camera, which lets you take pictures and videos on the 3DS. You also got Sound, where you could actually listen to music and record sounds. Kind of a cool thing the 2DS and 3DS has. Nintendo Video and Nintendo Zone, which I'm not too familiar with, but both are discontinued. I think. Face Raiders had you take a picture of your face and put it in a fun little game. The AR games had you using the included AR cards and also the camera to play some small augmented reality-based games. We also have Street Pass, which was an awesome application that brought other 3DS owners' Miis into your plaza, and you could also partake in a bunch of cool games like Find Me. Download Playhead, you connect with other 3DSs nearby for multiplayer. And how could we possibly forget about the health and safety application? That's the most interesting one yet. And let's not forget about settings. And now let's talk games, the best part of any system. Or is it? Man, what the hell am I talking about? Of course it is. Mario Kart 7 is a game that I got pre-installed with the system, and is honestly a very solid Mario Kart game. I wouldn't really say it's the best Mario Kart game. I mean, comparing it to Mario Kart 8, it's not as good, but I would still say it's a good enough game for you to actually still play it now. And it did introduce some stuff to the Mario Kart series, like kart customization, gliding through the air, and driving underwater. Although these aren't really that major of changes, they do help make the game fun. Although kart customization, though, doesn't really make me feel like I'm actually customizing my own kart. But honestly, Mario Kart 7, it's a good game. I would say it's like a really good Mario Kart game, but I don't know, it's not the best Mario Kart game, so, you know. Super Mario 3D Land, I would argue, is actually one of the better portable Mario games. It's really just a toss-up between this game and Super Mario Land 2, both of which are really, really good. But I really do like Super Mario 3D Land quite a bit. The levels, they're not open world or sandboxy like Mario 64 or Sunshine, so I would still have to say that those games are better because I'm just the kind of person who prefers that kind of style of Mario games, even though my favorite 3D Mario is Super Mario Galaxy. But Super Mario 3D Land, while it is a bit of a more linear Mario game, I would say it's really just one of the better handheld Mario games. The levels are designed so well despite being linear, and just the overall gameplay is really fun. And this game being as good as it is, got a sequel 2 years later with Super Mario 3D World. Also a really good game. The 3DS also introduced the world to New Super Mario Bros. 2. And much like the rest of the New Super Mario Bros. Games, they're good, but man, the New Super Mario Bros. Series is just altogether just getting so basic and tiresome that I just want Nintendo to move on. Nintendo should just either A, ditch the New Super Mario Bros. Series altogether and make a brand new 2D Mario game, unlike any other 2D Mario game, one that feels as special to play as the classics, or B, just ditch 2D Mario in general and just make 3D games from now on. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want Nintendo to make any more 2D Mario games. Like, if they make a new one, then that I'm okay with. Like, but if New Super Mario Bros. Is basically the only thing Nintendo's gonna do in terms of 2D Mario, I just want them to move on from New Super Mario. I just want them to move on from 2D Mario and just make the series just a 3D game, a 3D series now. But if Nintendo ever gives us a brand new 2D Mario game that isn't New Super Mario Bros., then I'm perfectly fine with that. But I mean, Nintendo has given us Super Mario Maker 2, so, you know, if you're tired of New Super Mario Bros., then I guess that's the place to go. And aside from Mario Maker 2, there's actually another 2D Mario game on the Nintendo Switch that came out in 2019. Maybe it's a brand new 2D Mario game. Why do I even try? But if you're just thinking about skipping New Super Mario Bros. 2, then you could always check out Donkey Kong Country Returns on the system. I mean, if you missed out on the Wii version, like me, then you could pick up this version on the 3DS that'll let you play the game portably. And man, this game is so much more enjoyable than New Super Mario Bros. 2. I mean, I'm not trying to say I hate New Super Mario Bros. 2. Again, like, it's a good game, but it's just so tiresome. I just think the level design in Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D just has a lot more going on. It's just more interesting. The level design is just so much more fun, and also, the game itself is just so full of character. And considering that this is a Wii game ported over to the 3DS, I think the game looks really good, and Retro Studios just did a great job bringing the Donkey Kong Country series back. This game and Tropical Freeze are some of the best platformers ever made. Mario Tennis Open is an alright Mario Tennis game, but Paper Mario Sticker Star is a game that I just can't. I know there are some people who really enjoy Paper Mario Sticker Star out there, and that's okay. I'm not trying to change anyone's opinions on this game. But this is coming from my perspective, and this is just not really a game that I really like all that much. I mean, this is probably just because right after I finished Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario, I played this game immediately after. So maybe I was expecting a little too much. But honestly, this really isn't that good of a game. And if you're a big fan of Luigi's Mansion, then the 3DS has got you covered with 2 games, one of which being a brand new game. And this game is Next Level. Get it? I said this game is Next Level, and this game was made by Next Level Games, so see what I did there? Man, my attempts at humor are so bad. Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, as it's called in the United States. And man, this is a great game. I will still have to stand by my choice that I think that the original Luigi's Mansion is the better game. Same with the Luigi's Mansion 3. But this game, this is a really good game. Next Level Games really did a good job bringing this series back. And if it wasn't for them, this series would probably just stay as a one-game series. I mean, in some ways, this is better than the original Luigi's Mansion. I mean, stuff like capturing Ghostfield is a lot more enjoyable, and honestly, I also really like how Next Level Games did a better job of showing off Luigi's personality. Like, in this game, Luigi's just an absolute goofball, and I love that. But some areas, like the ghosts not being scary and the whole mission thing not being well suited for a game like this, but I would still say that the game itself is great. The other Luigi's Mansion related game on the system is a remake of the original GameCube game. But the problem, though, about this remake is that it came out on the 3DS in 2018. On the 3DS. Like, this was at the time when the Nintendo Switch was still relatively new, and that's when it was still starting to gain popularity. And I think this game should have just came out on the Switch instead. Sure, Luigi's Mansion is a very short game, but I don't know. I think this game would have done a whole lot better if it was on the Switch instead. But I mean, I guess Nintendo just wanted to still have an excuse to put out games for the 3DS, so I mean, sure. I mean, I don't own this game, but I have heard that this remake is really faithful to the original game, and it's quite good. Although, I'm just gonna stick to the original game because, I don't know, I'm just that kind of person. Now, the last game I'm gonna talk about on the 3DS, or 2DS, again, like, whatever you want to call it, is Pokemon Alpha Sapphire. Now, as a kid, I wasn't really that big into Pokemon. Personally, I don't know, I just found it to be a really hard series for me to get into. And let's not jump to conclusions here. I don't hate Pokemon. I'm not trying to hate on anyone who likes Pokemon. But, I don't know, it's just, I can't really get into Pokemon. I mean, I at least made an effort with this game. I played it for a little while, but I don't know, it just didn't really do it for me. I mean, again, I'm not trying to hate on anyone who likes Pokemon or anything. It's just, Pokemon isn't exactly a franchise for me. So just keep that in mind. And that's about all the games I have on the 3DS. Well, actually, that's not true. I did download a bunch of Virtual Console games for the system. The 2DS is my main way of playing Game Boy games. Because I mentioned this in my Super Mario Land video back in October, that I don't own an original Game Boy, and yes, it might as well just be a confession at this point, but I mean, the 3DS is really good if you want to play games like Super Mario Land or Donkey Kong 94, which I love, by the way. And you could even switch the color palettes around to match the original screen color of the Game Boy, the greenish color. Or you could just do black and white. I really like how they gave us that option. I prefer the black and white. And most Game Boy games, well, actually, all the Game Boy games that I have on the 2DS are quite good, with some exceptions being Super Mario Land, but I don't know, it's the first Super Mario Land, it's the first Mario game it's the first portable Mario game, so I don't know, maybe it just got a rocky start, but pretty much all the other Game Boy games that I have on the 3DS are quite good. And honestly, I love how they just even gave us a virtual console on this system in general. This and the Wii U have some of the best virtual consoles you can find on any Nintendo system. The 3DS also has backwards compatibility with DS games. And it's really nice how Nintendo gave us the option. Although I don't really use this feature because I don't even own any DS games at all. But it's really nice that Nintendo gave us this option, though, for people who do have a lot of DS games. And that's about it for my review on the Nintendo 2DS. Overall, it's a really good system. I honestly really like the system quite a bit. Even though I don't really have that many 3DS games, I have a lot of games on the system for me to actually really like the system. Like, I mean, if I didn't get the 2DS, then I never would have been able to play any of the Game Boy games like Donkey Kong 94 or Super Mario Land 2 or Super Mario Land 3 or none of the Kirby games either. So, honestly, this system means a lot to me. Even though this system has been discontinued for how many months now, and the Nintendo Switch is, we all know this, the Nintendo Switch is just skyrocketing in terms of sales. I would still have to say that it's still worth picking up the 2DS just to play some of the system's greatest games, and also for the virtual console too. And I just realized when I was talking about the 3DS's virtual console, that made me think about the Nintendo Switch and its virtual console. And it doesn't even have one. It has Nintendo Switch Online where you could play NES and SNES games, but you can't buy these games separately. And you could only play them through Nintendo Switch Online. What the But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time when I talk about Tetris 99.